So I didn't have a father growing up. I grew up with a single grandmother, and I had to face a lot of my life challenges and stuff that I would need a man to teach me on my own, or I kind of just figured them on kind of head on instead of, being guided in the right direction, or, being able to get good advice from someone who's already been through certain experiences or certain situations that would happen to benefit me. Here's going to be my list of things I wish my father would have taught me. The first thing I would say is I wish my father would have taught me, like, basic handy skills, like how to fix something around the house, how to use a tool correctly, how to change a tire, how to change oil, how to change brakes or something like that. And weirdly enough, like, I'm grateful for the way, like, I had to learn things, and I kind of just had to learn everything the hard way. But sometimes I wish, like, it would have been nice, to have a father figure there to kind of just teach me and guide me through everything. So, like, everything wasn't so stressful and so hectic. Or I kind of knew, like, sometimes this is part of life's motion and you just got to deal with it. Another thing, too, I feel like was really important was, how to manage money, building a money budget and learning how to live in between your means, to live accordingly and to live according to your budget. I feel like once we're pretty young and we don't really have guidance or pretty strong money discipline, we kind of tend to spend money on a lots of stupid things or really unnecessary things that in reality we really don't need, or it was just a waste of money. Kind of, you don't really learn until after you spend your money, or let's say you want to make an investment, or like for buying a car, for instance. Like, buying a car could be pretty stressful, especially if you have no experience and you're going in by yourself, because most of the time these places try to screw you over, or they just bring a lot of stuff to the table that you just don't understand yet, or just have the general idea. And it's always nice to have someone, especially like a man figure in your life, to kind of guide you through that process, or to let you know, like, hey, these are certain things to look out for and whatnot. I feel like another very important one, or like life lessons, kind of like how to stand up for yourself but be humble at the same time, kind of don't let anybody pick on you, but also don't be a bully type of thing. I feel like at some point in our life we've kind of dealt with like a Debo or someone of that nature where they kind of pick on you for absolutely no reason. You kind of either you choose to either not stand up for yourself, or you choose to stand up for yourself. And there's lots of ways to stand up for yourself. It doesn't always have to become physical or anything like that. But there's certain ways to handle altercations. And for me, like, I feel like some of the altercations I handled, it would have been nice to have my father guide me, and or to teach me the proper way to resolve things in life. Even now, I struggle with this to this day, is expressing feelings without feeling shameful about it. I know, like, and I'm guilty of it, but putting on a tough guy act, sometimes it doesn't always have to be like that. Most men are men because they know how to express their feelings correctly, and not always put on this tough guy act all the time, because nobody needs a tough guy all the time. Somebody needs someone who could be a tough guy, who could be, intertwined with their feelings, and, be everything of above. And that's kind of what people need nowadays, or just in general, what people want to keep around. There's lots of ways to deal with anger. It doesn't always have to be an outburst or a reaction or anything like that. There's lots of very healthy ways to deal with anger, especially if you have problems controlling your anger. But that's definitely one of the things I wish I was taught, how to just control my feelings just in general, or control certain emotions that I feel like are bad traits for me. Another thing too, super very important, I wish I was taught, is how to be present. I feel like as like a family member, like as a cousin and everything like that, I'm pretty distant, which is really unfortunate, because I feel like not only have I pushed people away, even if that's the case, but just because I decided to isolate myself. Basically, I would just lock myself in my room. I wouldn't leave or anything. And now looking back at it, now that I'm a little bit more grown, so I mean, I wish, like, when I had the opportunity and I had the chance, I would have took every opportunity that I had to basically spend time with my family. When now that everybody's grown up, I didn't realize how much time you really do lose. Even now, like, like, you're always learning something new every day, and it's always, not everybody has the same answers, or not everybody has the answer to everything. So it's always nice to get different perspectives, especially from someone who's a male figure in your life, especially like your father or someone like that. It's always, the bond of a man teaching a boy how to become a man is, it's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, the places it can take you, the opportunities you get, the doors it opens, the different views of life and perspectives that you get. It's a once in a lifetime, and if you can experience it, experience it. And I mean, if you're the unfortunate, like, me or someone else who's clicking on this video, then sometimes you gotta make best with what you do. And be your own man and become that person who, who you needed and who you wanted to be when you needed those answers and how to resolve some problems and altercations. But the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is, for me, growing up, I was a, big time knucklehead. I made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of mistakes growing up. Some that are life changing, some that weren't life changing. Some were small, some were pretty big. But majority of the time, I was a really big headache growing up. I was always causing problems for somebody or someone in, around me or in my life. I wish like I would have had someone, to put me in check, kind of be on my ass all the time, make sure that I wasn't staying in trouble and making any mistakes, and just being out there doing unnecessary things and doing stuff to cause stress for everybody around me. I wish there was someone to put me in my place. And looking back at it now, I feel like for me personally, that's kind of what I needed growing up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you enjoy, drop a like, comment, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' scenario is, or if you guys agree or disagree with me. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.